Welcome to this week's podcast and videocast with Eagle football coach Beau Baldwin. It's brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union, serving their members' financial needs since 1951. Dave Cook sent me a text this morning, Coach, as we're doing this. You played on Saturday without 14 players, 5 All-Big Sky Conference players out of those 14 who had combined for over 314 career games and 135 starts. So that's a testament to depth.
Yeah, it is. Testament to depth. I think just testament to mental toughness and the way we approached it. It's interesting that Dave sent that. I received it too, but we also, yesterday in the team meeting, I read that list off. Not the same list, but I had comprised my own list of guys who weren't with us, or haven't been with us, but definitely weren't with us on that trip. But the beauty of it was that list was never talked about or thought about during the week, and that's the difference. I think it shocked them almost, and that's what I wanted to see, and that's what I said that's the last time we'll talk about a list like that. We'll never talk about it going into a game, because we're going to take the approach that we're going to trust the next guy coming in. We're going to step up whoever that is. We're going to keep moving as a team, and just take that mindset. And had we not won that ball game, it would have had nothing to do in our mind with not being healthy. It would have had to do with they beat us, and we got to do, we got to do a better job and make more plays to win. So that was the mindset our guys carried all week, and it shocked them a little bit how many guys were out, but that's how you want it. You don't even want them thinking about that stuff.
Well, you're recruiting guys for a reason, I guess. So you've talked about it for a long time, next man up. You're not recruiting, 22 guys to play football. You're recruiting 63 that are on scholarship, 80 some odd actually probably getting some sort of aid. So you've recruited all these guys, and it's just next man up. It's the next guy's turn.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just that's the mentality. You have to have that mentality if you want to be great at any sport, but definitely in the game of football and the number of games we play and the length of the season. That mentality has to be there. Otherwise, I don't think you ever have a chance for true greatness as a team. You can't just hope you're lucky enough to stay healthy. So our guys have taken that on. The coaches have done a great job recruiting to that. That's been a big deal for us. How are we building depth, and it's come through this year without question. Without that depth, we obviously wouldn't be in a good position to still put these quality football players on the field, even when some of the guys that are your experienced or the guys that are starters have gone out mid-year.
One thing that struck me in that ball game on Saturday was defensively better red zone defense. You got one stop, held them to one field goal, and third down defense, you held them to, I think it was like 42% on third down. So we've talked several times about, yards aren't the best indicator, but how do you perform in these other categories? And you performed very well in those two on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought our guys, defensively as a whole, I thought we did that very well. We had and even the pick, it wasn't quite in the end zone, but the pick that really sealed it near the end, Victor's second pick, they were just approaching that red zone, and then obviously holding them to a field goal right before half was big to still preserve a lead rather than a tie score, and forcing another field goal where they missed it. So yeah, that was huge, because total yards ended up somewhat similar, but I think the keys, third down as well. I think we were in the 7 of 11, so we were well over 50% on our side of the ball. So we beat them in third down, we beat them in the red zone. To their credit, I think it was a wash turnover battle, so that went back and forth. But the other thing, I think we won that game up front too, both sides of the ball, because even though total yards were similar, we made them very one-dimensional. And when you're one-dimensional, you struggle when you get in the red zone sometimes. You can move it from 20-20, but all of a sudden that field shrinks. So some of that thing, when they're not able to run the ball like they really would like to be able to run the ball, it makes it that much tougher in the red zone, where we were not one-dimensional as an offense. And our O-line, won that battle to allow us to both run and pass when we got down the red zone, where for them, our defense, made them a lot more one-dimensional. So it's, passing yards are what they are, but that was a big reason why we won.
They really only drove the field on you one time for a touchdown when the game mattered. They got a gadget play for a touchdown. They got a blown coverage that they were able to get a touchdown out of. But really only, and then the touchdown at the end of the ball game. But really, they only had one real good touchdown scoring drive against your defense.
They did. I mean, we looked at that, and that doesn't excuse the fact that we can't blow a coverage. I mean, we got to still look at that hard ourselves. But you're right. When you look at truly how many times were they really driving on us, and being able to do that, and I think part of us making them one-dimensional, and really taking away what they really want to be able to add to their offense with their run game. takes them away from being able to go on long, sustained drives. It is tougher. And the gadget play, give them credit. Guy made a great play. I mean, we saw it coming in a sense. Guys were yelling on the sideline. Dude was in great position, and the guy made a great play. Great throw, great catch. But in the last one, you're up 18. I mean, we're going to be smart at the end of the game, too. We're gonna make them try and drive the field. Yes, there's some plays within that drive, though, that are very correctable. There's no question about it. And we don't allow, we don't want to say, well, it doesn't matter 18 or win by 18, win by 12. But, yeah, to our guys it did. So we correct those things, and we want to make sure we can still get that stop at the end. But in the course of the game and how it played out, especially, again, that second half, I thought we really wore them down.
To fans and to dumb media guys like me, Jordan West looked like he played pretty well. Was that what the smart guys like you come out with?
He did. He graded out well. He played tough, too. That was a physical. I mean, there was a lot of hitting, and we knew that going in. They were a physical football team. You were going to, when they came, you were going to feel it. And guys, like a Jordan West, like a Jalen Moore, different guys were, stepping up in those tough situations and handling that. But, yeah, Jordan himself, he did. He was poised. He graded out very high. He was taking what the defense gave him. He executed. I mean, anytime, you're the leader of that offense and you can execute. We were 5 of 5 scoring in the red zone with all touchdowns, and we're 7 of 11 on third down. A big part of that is, what we're doing to mix it up, both run and pass, and I definitely think our running game added to that, but also quarterback play. Twice Jordan ran for first downs too. And that was maybe something unexpected, but 2 of those first downs on 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 5, he ran and picked it up. So he did a great job.
Great performances from both running backs. Jalen Moore looks like he runs like he's a 225 or 230-pound running back. He's not, but he runs hard, and he must have a low center of gravity or something because he runs through bigger guys.
He's got just a thickness to him, like you said. I mean, there's a thickness to him. I forget that he's only right around 200 because the way his body and the way he carries it and the way he'll punish defenders. So, and they have the type of defense where a guy like Jalen, I think, can really hurt them because they sit back, a little bit. They don't necessarily bring a lot of guys up the line of scrimmage. A little bit they did, but they sit back and then they look to read what's happening and then go to vice it. But if you could let him get rolling downhill, and once he starts rolling, you come down to meet him, he's going to a lot of times get 4 or 5, 6 yards after that initial contact. So he does. He's one of those thumpers. Our defensive guys talk about it all the time when they've gone in scrimmages and gone in that. They feel it when they go to hit him in the thighs and that way. So it's just a great dimension too when you take the Mario piece and then Jalen and we get Quincy back and hopefully Jabari. You just have a lot of different types of backs that can present problems for a defense in terms of having to defend different types of style.
I thought the tight ends were more involved this week. I think Zach Wimberly had a career high for catches in a game. Terry Jackson had a couple as well. All told, it was 7 catches, and I think it was over 100 yards for your tight ends. Was that by design, or is that just the way the game played out?
A little bit of both. I mean, the game played out that way, but also we knew going into the game, couple things. We were going to probably use a few more heavier sets, two and 3 tight end sets. So when they're on the field more and you're mixing in run and pass, they're just going to be involved in more routes. So they have better chance. And some of the things we were doing with them, also by design, was areas we thought they were weak in their defense. Every defense has its strengths and weaknesses, and we thought them covering some of the inside seams they were going to struggle with at times. And another piece of that, a guy like Jordan, as opposed to a guy like Vernon, sometimes working those inside seams and those verticals, it can be easier for him at 6'4". To be able to see those things and be able to throw those things. So it all kind of played. There were a few different factors on, I think, why they were involved a little bit more. But we had all the faith in the world that even through the year, we're like, there's going to be those game or twos coming up, tight ends, where you will. And they'll continue to be. There might be other games, like our backs didn't catch any balls. It's just that type of game. Now, we may come back a couple weeks later and Quincy or Mario or Jalen, they add up 9 catches between them. So it's just a matter of what matchups, what the defense has given us, and making sure that we keep teams off balance.
Have a lot of redshirt freshmen making plays. Victor Gamboa this past week, 2 interceptions. How long does it take for the first-year guys, whether they're a redshirt freshman or a true freshman, or even a guy like a Wadu, who's a junior, or Tevin McDonald came in last year? How long does it take these first-year guys to really get in tune with what's going on, with your system and with adjusting to everything here?
Yeah, it's player specific, because.
Cooper Cup didn't have a whole lot of
right. And then for all intents of purposes, give Vernon credit. He came right out of the gates and won his first start against against Weber and played, and different guys. And other guys, sometimes it just takes a little bit longer, and they get that feel and they start to, feel themselves. But you're starting to see it. So I don't know that there's a blanket answer. A lot of times it can take, you hope at this point it doesn't take any more than a half a season because, I want to keep seeing. And that's what you see with a guy like Victor. I mean, you're seeing him from game 1 or 2 or 3 to where he is now. He's grown a ton. And other guys it might take, you're going to notice huge jumps next year from where they are right now, whether it be a Kreifels or a Bauman or those guys. But you start to see Bauman on special teams. So it's all just player specific, but I'm trying to put the, just the onus on them that we just have to have that sense of urgency. We have to have that sense of urgency. No one's young anymore. No one's a freshman anymore. There's no such thing. We're approaching our 8th game now. We have these big visions and dreams and goals ahead of us, but it's going to take all 95. And I remember telling them that, and they were kind of really believing me on Sunday. Remember what we said before the season? It's going to take all 95 of you guys. Oh, you get some guys, oh, yeah, sure. I'm going to be redshirt and this, that. And all of a sudden, 6 freshmen are playing D-line. You got guys starting that maybe weren't going to be starters coming out of spring. I mean, you just have a lot of things happening. So you just have to have that sense of urgency that this year still can be very special, but it's going to take all of us getting over the hump and playing like veterans, even if we are freshmen. So we'll see. I'm already seeing some of that growth midway through this season.
Next team up, Northern Colorado. I know it's early in the week, but one thing you do know is they've intercepted more passes, I think, than anybody in the nation, and their turnover margin is tops in the league, if not in the nation. So defensively, they do some of the things that we've talked about here in that they're creating turnovers. They may be giving up some points, they may be giving up some yards, but they're creating turnovers and getting opportunities for their offense.
They are. It's impressive watching them, and they really aren't giving up too many in this day and age in college football. I want to say they're 4th in our conference in a very strong conference, giving up 28 or 29 points a game, and their ball hawking ability is really, really impressive. I mean, extremely. Not just the interceptions are off the charts. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 14 at this point in the year is a monster number. And then on top of that, though, they've also stripped. They've gotten out 4 fumbles or recovered. So they've gotten out probably more than that. They go after those things too. I mean, you can just tell. Coach Collins has bred that in their guys. It's a culture. And they live it. They live it on game days. And our guys have got to be on top of that. You can find yourself all of a sudden, man, we outplayed them or did this and that, whatever it might be. But, well, that's a big but. That's not an excusable but. If you say but, we turned it over, 3 or 4 or 5 times, whatever that is, that's going to be tough to overcome. Yeah. Almost impossible. So our guys really got to focus in on the details, and it's going to be a challenge to try and win that turnover battle.
And another week with a sold-out crowd back here on the red field behind us. Got to feel good to already know on Monday as we record this that this game's sold out, and you're going to have another big crowd.
It's awesome. I mean, I just appreciate the support, the fans, the effort that goes into selling these things out, and our guys are excited again to hopefully reward that sellout with a great product on the field. We're going to work hard in practice all week. Already are prepping, so yeah, but it is. It's a great feeling.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks, Larry.
You betcha. That's head coach Beau Baldwin, and our podcast this week brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union.